Omnath. Okay. Yeah, we're... I don't know. I don't know what we are. We're struggling, that's what we are. Here's the Solitude. See if they have Ephemerate. Nope. Just straight up just answering Titan. That's cool, that's cool. And there's more where that one came from. Hello, and welcome, everybody. We are here for round 4 with the list you see on screen. We are currently 2-1, so we're fighting for the 3-1, maybe a 4-1. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself here, though. We're here to play and learn, and if the result is favorable, that's great, and if it's not, then at least we have something to say at the end of the league. Maybe we can explain a little bit of what's going on, and maybe how we could change the deck list if anything needs to be changed at all. And yeah, speaking of the deck list, if you're not familiar with it, then you need to check out not only the description of each of these matches, which contains the deck list via MTG Goldfish, but you can also check out match 1, where I cover in detail the card choices being made and why those card choices are being made. And yeah, I don't have much else to say, so I'll see you guys in the match. Alrighty, let's hop in here for the match. On the draw, playing against Sleeves Like Us. Very interesting name over there with the Kahira. So my immediate first thought is this could be an Elementals deck. Against Elementals, having multiple copies of Dryad and Titan is probably pretty good to play through Solitude. I mean, I'm not generally a big fan of turn 3 Dryad, turn 4 Titan kind of hands, and even for that to work out, we need to find, like, a Garandrig, pretty much. I guess another Bounce Land would work, since we do have 2 untapped sources, so a Garandrig or Bounce Land, or I guess an Amulet leads to a turn 3 Titan here. I don't know. And that's assuming that our Dryad survives as well. Not turn 3, a turn 4 Titan, I mean. We play Dryad on turn 3 and have turn 4 Titan. It's definitely close. I think in game 1 it's fine to mulligan here. To try to find a turn 1 Amulet or a Saga, it's definitely close, but I think I'm more comfortable shipping that one. And here we do find a turn 1 Grazer into Saga kind of hand. Can't cast Explore just yet, but I mean, we'll see where it goes. And as much as it pains me to get rid of the duplicate Titan, again, for reasons of playing around our opponent having Solitude, I think that it's probably the right choice, because if we find any green source, the Explorer will help us cantrip towards a bounce land, which this hand will most likely be in need of, so... If we top deck a green source, especially an untapped one, we can play turn 1 Grazer into Saga. Well, there's our duplicate Titan, so I don't feel too bad about that. We're going to Cavern Naming Beast here, just to get the 1-drop beast of a creature in play. And of course we're going to put out Saga here, like what else? Boom. Saga in play. A untapped green source would be great off the top. We could even then just choose to activate Saga and not worry about finding a bounce land, but I don't know. We'll see. Opponent has the fetch for Raugen Triome. 1 Swept Teeth. Definitely feels like Elementals to me. Another Pact. Well, that's not exactly one that we were looking forward to, but anyhow, here's a Valcut in the pass, and next turn, if we float and get a bounce land from our draw and an Amulet from the Saga, then we can easily play, Summoner's Pact for either a Zusa or a Grazer, and then play a Titan with Amulet out. And that would be pretty good. We don't have any green sources, like actual green sources in play. This is one of those rare cases where Cavernous Holes is just a strictly worse basic force. If this was a basic force, we could have explored this turn. I guess we might have even missed on a land had we explored, but still. It would have given us the option. There definitely is a cost to playing things like Cavern. Our opponent has Risen Reef here, perhaps. Moldrifter. Not as afraid of that one, to be honest. Definitely feels like our opponent is on Solitude here, though. Like, I don't know why else they would have... I guess they could have, like, Fury as well, if they're playing the list that plays Fury. I think there's an Elementals list that plays Fury. Forgive my ignorance. We are going to go ahead and... I guess we could just activate, because we're not going to be able to cast Explore here. Interesting. We definitely are activating, because we have nothing else to do. The thing that's interesting here is, are we supposed to get a Expedition map, or are we supposed to still get an Amulet and just hope we top deck a green bounce land? Because at this point, we haven't found what we need. even if we did map for a green source and play it, we still wouldn't be able to play Explorer anytime soon. I kind of feel like we just need to spike a bounce land off the top, but... I mean... I don't know. Rough spot. I feel like the safest play is to get map, but I'm not sure that the safest play wins here. But just making ourselves need to draw a bounce land doesn't feel that great, and specifically green one. So, let's go do some math real quick. We have 8, I believe. Yeah, 8 green bounce lands. And so, here we are with StatTrek's Hyper Geometric Calculator. Our population size is currently 51, since that's how many cards we have in deck, but we're about to remove one of those cards from our deck, so down to 50. We just established we have 8 green bounce lands, and we'd like to see one of those. So in just one draw, we are 16% likely to draw a bounce land, and in 2 draws, we are 30% likely. Those are not great odds, to be honest. I think we are obligated to get map here, as much as I absolutely hate it. It really sucks, but I mean, we don't really have another choice, so gotta do what you gotta do. Ugh. Not the outcome I was hoping for this game. The cards we drew were neither bounce lands nor any land, for that matter. A single green land will let us start unlocking this hand a little bit. By the way, this must be Canister's list, because I believe Canister is the one who began including Moldrifter in Elementals. They Teferi to bounce the map. Alright, untapped green source. Untapped green source. Come on. Any land will be fine. Oh, come on. No. Well, this is the absolute worst case scenario. We're going to attack the Teferi, of course, and get that thing out of play so it can do us no further harm. Attacking them wouldn't actually accomplish anything. Attacking Teferi allows us to cast Summoner's Pact when we want to, and stop them from eventually minusing Teferi on another of our permanents in the future. So they could just have a second Teferi here, actually, and that wouldn't be terribly unreasonable. Omnath. Okay. Yeah, we're... I don't know. I don't know what we are. We're struggling, that's what we are. At least they didn't have fetch land to make an additional 4 mana this turn. Well, I don't know what our opponent's waiting here. I guess they were trying to figure out what they want to tutor with their Flamekin Harbinger. It's going to put an Elemental on top, so let's get the good old reveal tool handy here. I can't imagine that this is going to go our way as Subtlety. No. That's just not good. And we're just drawing all the Explorers. Well, we have no choice but to map for green bounce land, play it, and pick up the Cavern, I think. I apologize for some of the background noise, by the way. There's not much I can do to avoid it. Now we're going to have to discard a card to hand size here. Well, we'll discard one of the 3 Explorers that we have that we'll literally never use. I don't see how we get back into this game at all, to be honest. They now have Subtlety in hand. Like, I feel demoralized enough to just concede here, and I don't think that would be unreasonable at all. They have Risen Reef going, they have Subtlety. I am pretty inclined to just pack this in. Hopefully you guys can't be angry at me for that. And to sideboarding. Well, against Elementals, we want Dismembers, of course, for their Risen Reefs and to hit anything they're trying to ephemerate. That might even be about it. Like, Explosives is alright. We could play it on 3 and blow up a couple of Risen Reefs or something, but I'm not super in love with that. I think Tracker is good, however. Just trying to outgrind their subtleties and that kind of thing. We can trim a Grazer. I guess they could have Thunderkin Awakener that we might want to dismember, but it seems like they're on a list that's not playing Skelemental which means that I'm not as worried about Awakener, to be honest. It's mainly just to get back value. You can trim 1 Cavern for pretty obvious reasons. Doesn't even do anything against Subtlety, so there's that. You can trim and Explore, as we need to clock our opponent. We can't give them too much time, so Explore's not really the direction we're trying to go, and we can get rid of this main deck Relic. And I think that about does it. We could want Radiant Fountain, perhaps, but whatever. Alright, we'll be on the play, of course. Turn 1 Amulet. Turn 2 second Amulet, Bounce Land, Crazy Things Titan. Well, you know, it's not exactly the way I said it, but I will definitely take that. We'll keep this. Probably Saga will be setting up Expedition Map to get a Bounce Land here, assuming that we don't draw one, of course. Leading on the Grazer, just to get the ramp going. Saga, of course. Get our second Amulet or our Expedition Map as fast as possible. Admittedly, that might just be playing into the hands of them having a Solitude, but delaying our Amulet here is actually kind of nice against a potential turn 1 Prismatic ending. That's kind of sick. They have turn 1 Utopia Sprawl. Yep, they got the ramp too. They're doing it. Vesuva. Okay. Okay. So we're definitely playing out an Amulet, so we can play Explore this turn as well. I think we're probably just Vesuvaing the Breeding Pool. Might as well Vesuva theirs, because it's literally exactly the same as ours. We can always deal it as long as we only have 1 Amulet in play. Which may not be for very long if we literally top deck a Bounce Land, like, right now. It's not a Bounce Land, but I'll take it. Actually, oh man, we already have our Breeding Pool in play. If we had another Breeding Pool in deck, or some other fetchable land that enters tapped, we could have floated with Saga, gotten second Amulet, and then fetched for an ETB tap land like a Breeding Pool, and floated 2 mana with the other 4 that we have here. That would have been a Titan. That is the reason why I kept the fetch in hand, by the way, is because that would require us to play fetch this upcoming turn. But, of course, we already have our Breeding Pool, so oops. We can still top deck a Bounce Land. If we do, we're 1 mana short, unfortunately, of double Titaning. So close. Oh, they have no mana and no second land, huh? Interesting. I think we just float with Saga here. Are we getting map? Find Bounce Land, Explore, and then plan to just do the Titan thing next turn? We're getting second Amulet and hoping that we can top deck our way into the Bounce Land off of this Explore. Debatable for sure. I guess we also could have just activated the Saga for a token. I don't think that would have been super impactful, though. I think probably just a second Amulet is going to be good enough, as any enter the battlefield tap land from this point on is going to end up being Titan mana, so I think I'm okay with a second Amulet here. And we'll start by exploring. That would get us up to double Titan mana if we found the Bounce Land. We don't. That's alright. Do we want to play the Azusa here? Because doing so would just expose it, potentially. I don't think I mind if they Solitude our Azusa, though, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it into play. I guess the only thing is, if we top decked an ETB tap land or a Bounce Land, we could just play Titan and not have an Azusa out there for them to Solitude plus Ephemerate, but whatever. Let's just play the Azusa now. Any ETB tap land lets us cast Titan here, so that's nice. Any Bounce Land lets us double Titan here, which is also nice. Still probably loses to Solitude plus Ephemerate, but, I mean, you can't play around everything. Admittedly, we would have preferred this Azusa to be a Dryad, because that way we could get some Valkat triggers along the way, even if they have double Solitude for our Titans. In fact, if this Azusa had been a Dryad, we might just be able to win the game off the back of that fact alone. Explosives on 1. Okay, well, we need to draw Garenbrig to have Titan instead, but that's fine. They killed our Grazer! You will pay dearly for this. They also killed their own Utopia Sprawls. We found the Bounce Land, too. Alright, well... Bada bing. Bada boom. Bada bang. Go. I guess we can swing for the value 1 point of damage here. Take that, opponent. Also very unlucky of our opponent to get stuck on one land here. It was a very brave thing for them to do to expose away their own sprawls, and they still haven't hit the other land. Ugh. There's just no fairness. None at all. I mean, are they going to Solitude this? Whatever. Here comes Titan. And not Solitude, Subtlety. That's the one I was thinking of, but anyways. Yeah, that guy goes on top. And we are going to play out the Garrison here. And I think we just leave both of these Growth Chambers be, even though one of them is actually secretly a Vesuva. I think it's okay to do this. We want the Garrison in place so that we can haste our Titan immediately. Which I'm not sure is actually the best plan against them having a potential Solitude, but regardless. In fact, if we resolve our Titan this upcoming turn, I will most likely not be going for the haste for that reason. That would be an easy way for us to lose an otherwise quite winnable game, I would say. Alright, so we're going to leave the blue floating here, and we're just going to jam Primeval Titan. Yep, this works. Boom. Second time. Alright, well, at least our opponent had to 2-for-1 themselves twice just to delay our Titan by turn, so I'll take that, I guess. Top. Now they're down to 3 cards and 2 lands, which I'm actually pretty happy about. I am swinging into them having something at instant speed here. I just refuse to believe it. Look at Azusa clocking for 3 whole points of damage. Can you believe it? Wow. They fetch a Triome. Not surprising. We're probably going to resolve Titan this time. Flamekin Harbinger to put a thing on top. Let's see what that thing will be. It'll just be a Solitude or something. It'll be Spite Bellows. Yep, it was a Solitude. I called it. I did call it. Alright. Well, considering we know for a fact our opponent has access to Solitude here, we could go for the haste with the assumption that they don't have a Solitude in hand because they had to search one to put on top to answer our Titan. So for that reason, actually, I think I'm going to be greedy and go for the haste here. And of course, we're going to get Bounce Land plus Slayer Stronghold, pick up the Stronghold, and then play Stronghold as a land for the turn. And we're going to attack with the Titan here. I think this is going to make a decent amount of sense. So here's the Stronghold. Here is, I guess, a Selesnya Sanctuary makes sense. I'll go for that one. I just refuse to believe that they have another Solitude in hand. And even if they do, they have to 2-for-1 themselves and be left with 3 lands, a 1/1, and a Solitude. They seemingly don't have it. It's now or never, opponent. Do you got it? Yeah, I'm attacking with both. Don't care about my own life title at all. Alright, and then we're probably just getting TOS plus Bounce Land. Probably. We could get TOS plus Saga, and that wouldn't be crazy, but I think TOS plus Bounce Land is going to be more effective here. Because Saga is just going to make 2 tokens and search for a random artifact. I guess mapping for another Saga could be good, but that's going to be really slow. I guess our opponent is low on resources, though, so it is possible they can just die to a bunch of random tokens. Plus, if they had just, like, Solitude into another Solitude off the top, then getting TOS might soften us here, like, just relying on TOS only. But, I mean, our next Titan's going to get some Sagas on ETB anyways, so whatever. I'm over it. We'll get Smart Growth Chamber TOS. We'll pick up the TOS because I'm not messing around. And, here we go. Dismember, huh? No? Oh, they just took the damage. I always associate change of life total when I'm not expecting it to be dismember. I did not realize it was just going straight to combat damage, so. Here's the Solitude. See if they have Ephemerate. Nope. Just straight up just answering Titan. That's cool, that's cool. And there's more where that one came from. They are down to a 1/1, 3 lands, and a single card in hand. At 3 life. No more, no less. Risen Reef. Here it comes. No, I guess if it was Risen Reef, they should have. They just put that thing in hand, Kahira. Well, our opponent's probably just dead. I'm pretty sure we can. Oh, well, now they're definitely just dead. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we can Titan down to 5, and we'd be 1 short of getting Dryad. So yeah, let's. I'm just gonna slam the Titan and show our opponent that we just completely lucked into drawing the Titan off the top. Yep. I considered for a second transmuting the Talari West just to prove to our opponent that we didn't need to draw the Titan, but whatever. Who cares about pride anyways, am I right? And yeah, about what we want to change, nothing. Hit submit. I guess they could have Foundation Breaker, which would make Saga look real awkward, but Dismember. Interesting. We got some lands. We got some ramp. I dare say this is the keep. Our opponent has a mulligan down to 6, from what it looks like. And they keep their 6. Alright. Let's see if they have more than 1 land this time. So let's play a real Magic game here. They have turn 1 Sprawl yet again. Clearly, because Explosives was so good against our opponent last game, we should be bringing it in for this game, right? Let's go ahead and play the Garen Briggas. We know that nothing is going to be making this basic forest enter untapped. It gives our opponent a little bit of info, I guess, but... like, they could have, like, a white land and the 3-mana Thalia that makes non-basic lands enter tapped, and then we'd get punished for playing turn 1 forest and planning to go turn 2 Garen Brig. Is that ever going to happen? Probably not, but the technically correct thing to do here. If they have Risen Reef, we're probably obligated to dismember it, instead of casting Explorer even. Interesting. Yeah, I think we're probably just supposed to dismember that off bat. Actually, no, now that we have Saga, we can explore into land dismember, which I am a fan of, so we'll do that. Do we care more about killing this Risen Reef or playing around a potential Ephemerate in the future? Probably just killing the Risen Reef, I think. It is somewhat debatable, but they're obviously still on setup here. They got 3 cards left. And we're doing pretty decent over here. We got some ramp. We got Saga going. We're going to have an Amulet or Expedition map in a couple turns. We got bounce lands galore, so we got all the land drops we could need to make. We do have to figure out how we're grinding through a potential Solitude plus Ephemerate, but no, they're Teferi bouncing our Saga. Very sad. At least we can still play land 3-drop, but... I have a Harbinger. Let's see what they put on top. Is it Subtlety? Depends on what they have in hand to pitch, I guess. Or they could... yeah, Omnath makes a lot of sense, too. Yep. So here we're just going to be playing Dryad, as that enables us to get Valka triggers this upcoming turn. Assuming they don't kill our Saga. In fact, we can even play around that by intentionally picking up the Saga with a bounce land, which might be the better choice for grinding anyways, because we don't want to waste Saga on 2 by not being able to activate it. So, yeah, I'm pretty down to just pick up Saga here. It plays around things. And then next turn we can play land, pack for Titan, play it, get double Valka, and just send Valka triggers literally everywhere. You get a Valakut. You get a Valakut. You get a Valakut. This one here is the Omnath that our opponent is about to play. They have the fetch land to go with it as well, which is not ideal for us, but what else are we going to do about it? And I think it probably will be right to get at least one Valakut off of this Titan ETB. The other one is debatable. Possibly Talari West. Also depends on what we draw, but... Does this trigger on our turn as well? It does, but it doesn't really matter. I guess that them holding up fetches prevents them from dying to Valakut quite potentially. Let's start with the Summoner's Pact. See if this is resolving. We want the Primeval Titan, of course. Here's Saga. We'll go ahead and float now, because we can. Who needs to let the Saga trigger resolve? We definitely don't. Here's Titan. Into play. See, Valakut. Oh, they're fetching. Is that a good sign? I feel like it's probably not. They're fetching once more. Do they really have a counterspell or something here? Oh, they go up to... They get the extra mana, that's what it is. So they could hard cast a Subtlety here, I suppose. That is pretty bad for us, not gonna lie. Yeah, there's a Subtlety. That's not great. It's not the worst. We're definitely putting this guy on top, because he is gonna be our key to victory, quite potentially. We'll get a Growth Chamber out there and in play. What are we picking up? Probably not Saga, as we can start activating next turn to make constructs. So we'll do this. And we're not attacking, of course. We did play the Saga for turn, so I don't think we can play any other lands. Nope. Alright. Here we go, opponent. This is going to be kind of close, actually. Because they have a clock on us. If they find another Subtlety, then we probably lose, actually. Solitude might do it, and might not. Solitude probably would be good enough as well. I don't know, we'll have to see. We might be obligated into casting Explore here instead of doing the Saga thing, just to try to find more things, but I don't know if that makes sense. I guess we could try to find a natural Valakut with the Explorer as well. They're going to be able to Teferi bounce our Dryad. We could play land. We'd have 1, 2, 3 to play Dryad. We could play Dryad and Titan all in the same turn, even if they bounced our Dryad, so... Okay. Let's tap it this way, I guess. We can also make a chump blocker with the Saga. And having Amulet for this next turn where we're about to play with Primeval Titan is probably a good thing, so we probably don't want to be picking up the Saga either. So it's probably Forest, activate Sanctuary, pick up the Forest. Actually, I don't know that having Sanctuary is a good idea. I guess they could Teferi to bounce the Saga, and that would punish not playing out the Sanctuary. Interesting. If we make the token now, however, they can just bounce the token and deny us a blocker. We could also play Azusa with the intention of blocking with the Azusa, which is kind of interesting. Weird. Alright, well, I think just making the token now is going to be good. If they bounce our Dryad, then we get to still chump block with the token. And if they bounce the token, then that means we get to start our upcoming turn with a Dryad already in play. So this gives them 3 good, juicy targets to hit with their Teferi minus, and it's not too bad if they hit any single one of the 3, so... Are we swinging? Nah, I don't think so. That's what's holding back the 1/1s from attacking, so... We're very close to dead here. They bounce the Saga, okay. I feel like we're probably going to lose this. If they Foundation Breaker our Dryad, that's gonna be pretty good, too. We can still top deck a Dryad and still be able to play land, activate Titan, get some Valcuts, and play a land after the Valcuts have entered play as the second land for the turn. So, like, we have things to do. Will they be good enough? Who knows? Second Teferi is pretty annoying, but not all that annoying, really. We cannot afford to chump block the Omnath because we just have to get Valcut triggers here. Or force our opponent to use a Solitude, I guess. I guess there's a potential that they just put a bunch of lands in play, or a single extra land in play from Risen Reef, like a fetch land, and then they have 3 land drops and do 4 to us via the Omnath, but I don't feel like that's going to be that much of a consideration, hopefully. There's not a whole lot we could do to actually win here, so now they have 4 cards in hand, so there's a lot of things that kill us, and all I know is we are slamming Amulettitan. Should we explore first? Are we supposed to explore first? I don't think that we are, to be honest. I think that we would not want to naturally draw a Valcut here, so. Alright, Titan in play. Let's see what you got. Okay, it resolved. Solitude. They have the Ephemerate also. I mean, even just Solitude in the Dryad is probably good enough for us to not be able to win here, but okay. They hit the Titan. Okay. We can work with this. We can definitely work with this. Because now we go up to 8. Unless they just, okay, they're making mana here, but could be a problem if they have another Solitude or something and they couldn't, like, hardcast it, but yeah. I mean, now we just get to do a bunch of Valcut triggers worth of damage, so very odd timing from our opponent here. Okay. Think we send the bottom 2 at Omnath and then the top 2 at the Risen Reefs. Need to get these Risen Reefs out of play first things first. Yield. I guess we had 2 more land drops, so we had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 3 would have been, I don't know how much that would have been. Ephemerating Omnath, okay. They're just drawing all the cards here, but I don't know what else we're supposed to do here, so let's see. 8, that would have been 24, so I guess if we sent all of the Valcut triggers at them, they would be literally just dead. We might still be able to win this way, though. Taking 4. No? Oh, they just got a lot of mana floating. Okay. Risen Reef's down. Alright. We can even explore here, actually, which I totally forgot about. We'll play a Saga. And we'll kill the Subtlety. And send 1 at the Omnath, I suppose. We don't want to always yield the Saga triggers, but it probably won't matter at this point. Actually, I'll go ahead and hit 5. The problem is it undoes the always yes, always yield thing, but we can live with that, I think. Alright, we play Basic Forest. Send 1 here. And 1 here, I guess. Just get all the creatures out of play. I don't see a reason to let them have any nice things. None. We'll play Explore, I suppose. Bounce Land? Razor. Not quite. We're probably transmuting this Tolari West for Summoner's Pact, I think. I think we might as well play the Grazer. Maybe holding the Grazer gets us additional triggers down the line, so I don't think they have anything with haste that we need to be worried about, so I'm just going to pass here. Not playing out the Tolari West. Yeah, the fact that our opponent solituded our Titan and not our Dryad is actually letting us kind of do stuff here, which is fantastic. Get to get the Teferi out of play. I don't know that that will matter, but it's good practice. Opponent has a lot of lands and a couple cards. Are those cards going to be good enough? They also have no board for this rebounded ephemerate. They could cast instant speed thing in response to the trigger for the ephemerate to be recast, but Risen Reef. Yeah, I think we have enough Valakut triggers to make the Risen Reef no longer an issue. I just put the card in hand. Another Omnath would be annoying, but possibly beatable. I guess we really don't want them to find an answer to our Titan, huh? No solitudes, no subtleties. That's the hope. Fetch. Interesting. They do have an Omnath. Again, probably better for us than them having a subtlety or a solitude, but it also replaces itself, and they get to Risen Reef trigger one more time, and they have another fetch land to make some... Oh, Prismatic Ending on the Dryad. Yeah, that kind of sucks. If we topped like a bounce land, we could just pack for Dryad and continue to do the Valakut thing. Bounce land? Amulet. Interesting. That might let us do everything we want to do here. We'll play the Amulet. Because this lets us get T-West... Let's see. I'll leave the Saga up. This lets us get a T-West and a bounce land, and then transmute for a Dryad, and then play the Dryad after attacks. Oh, wait. So here, for the Talaria West, we want to get Summoner's Pact, of course. We can do this, leaving the white floating. Get Titan, of course. Are we going for the attack or not? I feel like on 2 cards, we should not be playing around them having Solitude as one of those 2 cards. They might just fire off the Solitude immediately, just like last time, and then it might be a non-issue, but... They got tricks. Oh, they have to fetch. So they're going to hard cast a Subtlety here. Very annoying. And we're 1 mana short of being able to activate Saga here for the token also. No! Yep. Alright, well, we're not dead just yet. It's a very, very close, but we are not dead just yet. They're gonna draw a billion cards with Risen Reef, quite possibly. We'll definitely top the Titan. And now we just have to pass, sadly. Ugh. They don't have any fetch lands, so if they found an Omnath, they would need to go through some additional steps to get 4 damage out of the Omnath trigger and just kill us that way. Do they still have Kahira in hand? I think they probably do, unless they exiled it to an effect, which they have not. So they still have Kahira as one of their cards. Alpine Moon on the Saga doesn't really bother me. If they name Valakut, I don't know how I feel about that. If they name Valakut, we can double haste the Titan and double strike. I don't know if we can double Titan them. Probably. We probably can. A double Titan, hasting both and double striking both shouldn't be too difficult. Even paying for this pack trigger, so... But we do have the Sanctuary already in play. But we still have access to Vesuva, so... I don't know, we'll see. 2 hasting and double striking Titans would be 16 each, which is 32. So even this Kahira to block doesn't really do anything. Alright, so let's pay with a Growth Chamber, the Forest, and the Saga. Since we're gonna sacrifice the Saga anyways. Okay. We'll say yes. This gets 2nd Amulet, of course. Yeah, I think we should have a pretty easy route to victory here. Whatever. We'll leave the blue floating, I guess. Actually, yeah. No, we want to leave the blue floating, I think. All right, we'll play Titan. I guess we actually want to leave a green floating so we can cast Azusa here. We can get Boros No, wait. We're going to get the Simic and T-West first. Second T-West. And then we're going to get Garrison and... So I guess it doesn't matter. I guess if we want to replay the Boros Garrison with the Azusa, then we can do that. Probably doesn't really matter, if I'm being completely honest. I'm going to leave the white floating. Oh, wait, we can't. What am I doing? Alright, blue floating it is. Nah, screw it. Green floating. We're leaving green floating. That was a mess. Ephemerate. No! I guess it's a really good thing we have this Grazer to block. Ugh! Freaking Ephemerate! Yeah, we block the 4, take more than 4, and we're just dead, so... that's so frustrating. Well, they were able to dig out from underneath us, which is fine. This was a very close one, so I can't say that I'm unhappy with the outcome of this match in general. Definitely a very complicated one to try to play through, so let me know if you gained anything from it. And admittedly, even though we lost, I would still say that was pretty fun. So it was definitely very engaging and back and forth. So anyways, that's enough for this match. I will see you guys in the 5th and final match. This is Redface Menace, signing off.